What if Taeyong had finally decided to answer the one question ARMY had been waiting for? And what if his answer about Jungkook was completely different from what everyone expected? For months, fans had watched every glance, every pause, every carefully chosen word, searching for clues hidden beneath the surface. But now, Taeyong has seemingly broken his silence, and the moment he finally addressed the question surrounding Jungkook, the atmosphere changed instantly. His answer was brief, emotional, and filled with a mystery that left fans asking even more questions than before. Was there something Taeyong had been keeping to himself all this time? Was his relationship with Jungkook connected to a story that fans had never been allowed to see? And why did his expression change so dramatically when Jungkook's name was mentioned? Before we continue, tell us what you think in the comments. Do you believe Taeyong's answer revealed the truth, or did it only create an even bigger mystery surrounding Jungkook? If you enjoy emotional BTS stories, surprising moments, and the theories that keep ARMY talking, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the answer Taeyong finally gave may not be the ending to this story. It may be the beginning of something much bigger. For a long time, fans had become accustomed to seeing Taeyong and Jungkook sharing moments that could be interpreted in countless different ways. Sometimes, their interactions appeared playful and effortless. Sometimes, a simple glance between them seemed to carry more meaning than an entire conversation. And sometimes there were moments when one of them appeared to notice the other's emotions before anyone else did. These moments became the subject of endless discussions among ARMY, not because fans believed they knew everything about the two members, but because the bond between them had always been one of the most closely observed relationships within BTS. Yet behind the laughter, the performances, the interviews, and the public appearances, there were also moments of silence. Silence that fans noticed. Silence that became impossible to ignore. And when questions about Jungkook began appearing again and again, many fans began wondering whether Taeyong would eventually say something. At first, there was no clear answer. There was no dramatic announcement. No long statement. No carefully prepared explanation that immediately solved every mystery. Instead, the story began with something much smaller. A question, a pause, and a reaction that made fans look twice. According to the fictional scenario being discussed by fans, Taeyong was asked about Jungkook during a conversation that appeared casual at first. The atmosphere had been relaxed, with laughter filling the room and the conversation moving from one topic to another. But the moment Jungkook's name was mentioned, something seemed to change. Taeyong paused. It was not a long pause. It may have lasted only a few seconds. But to fans who had spent years observing his expressions, those seconds felt significant. He did not immediately smile. He did not quickly change the subject. Instead, he appeared to think carefully before answering. That single moment was enough to send ARMY into a frenzy. Why did Taeyong hesitate? Was he simply choosing his words carefully? Was the question more personal than it seemed? Or had the name Jungkook suddenly brought back a memory that Taeyong was not prepared to discuss openly? The answer that followed was reportedly simple, but its emotional weight was much heavier than fans expected. Taeyong did not respond with a joke. He did not dismiss the question. And he did not give the kind of answer that would allow everyone to move on immediately. Instead, he reportedly said something that sounded calm on the surface but carried an emotional meaning that fans immediately began analyzing. He suggested that Jungkook was someone who had always been important to him, someone whose presence could not easily be explained in a single sentence. That statement alone might have sounded harmless. But then came the part that truly shocked fans. Taeyong reportedly explained that there were some people in life who did not need to speak constantly in order to understand one another. Sometimes, he said, simply knowing that someone was there could be enough. The moment fans heard those words, the internet exploded with reactions. Some ARMY believed Taeyong had finally opened up about the depth of his connection with Jungkook. Others believed the statement was intentionally vague. And some fans began asking whether Taeyong was trying to protect something private. Because the more people analyzed his answer, the more mysterious it became. Why did he choose those words? Why did he appear emotional? And why did he reportedly look away immediately afterward? These questions quickly became the center of online discussions. For fans, the most surprising part was not necessarily what Taeyhyung said. It was what he did not say. He did not deny the importance of Jungkook. He did not laugh off the question. He did not act as if the subject was meaningless. Instead, his answer seemed to acknowledge that there was a bond between them that had endured through changing circumstances, busy schedules, personal growth, and years of shared experiences. And that was enough for ARMY to begin revisiting the past. Fans started remembering old moments between Taeyhyung and Jungkook. Moments from early BTS days. Moments from backstage. Moments during interviews. Moments where one member appeared to instinctively search for the other in a crowded room. Some fans remembered the way Jungkook often seemed to react when Taeyhyung was emotional. Others remembered moments when Taeyhyung appeared to notice Jungkook's mood before anyone else did. Individually, these moments may have seemed ordinary. Together, however, they created a pattern that fans found impossible to ignore. And then came the biggest question. Was Taehyung's latest answer simply a reflection on friendship? Or was there a deeper story behind his words? Of course, no public statement could reveal everything about a private relationship. BTS members have always had their own personal lives, private conversations, and experiences that fans will never see. That is why every interpretation must remain careful. A moment can be emotional without confirming a rumor. A close friendship can be meaningful without needing a dramatic explanation. But that did not stop ARMY from reacting emotionally. Many fans said Taeyhyung's answer felt different from his usual responses. They believed there was something in his tone, something in his hesitation, something in the way he reportedly spoke about Jungkook that made the entire moment feel more personal. One fan theory suggested that Taeyhyung had been asked about Jungkook at a time when the two members had recently gone through a period of separation because of their individual schedules and responsibilities. According to this fictional narrative, the question may have reminded Taeyhyung of how much their lives had changed. For years, they had grown together. They had faced exhaustion together. They had experienced pressure together. They had stood on enormous stages together. They had watched each other change from young trainees into global stars. And perhaps, according to the theory, the most difficult part was not growing together. It was learning how to continue growing while life constantly pulled them in different directions. This possibility made Taeyhyung's answer feel even more emotional. Because perhaps he was not talking about one specific incident. Perhaps he was talking about time itself. The years that had passed. The memories that had accumulated. The moments that could never be repeated in exactly the same way. And the strange reality of having someone beside you for so long that their presence becomes part of your understanding of home. That was the interpretation that made many fans emotional. But then another clue appeared. During the conversation, Taeyhyung reportedly smiled briefly when Jungkook was mentioned, but the smile disappeared almost immediately. Instead, he appeared to lower his gaze. Some fans interpreted that as embarrassment. Others believed it was nostalgia. And a few thought he might have been trying to hide how emotional he truly felt. That tiny reaction became the subject of countless theories. Fans began slowing down the moment. They analyzed the expression. They discussed the timing. They compared it with older moments. Some believed Taeyhyung's reaction was proof that the question had touched a sensitive subject. Others argued that people were simply reading too much into a natural human reaction. And perhaps both sides had a point. Because when it comes to public figures, every gesture can become a symbol. A smile becomes a clue. A pause becomes a mystery. A glance becomes a theory. And sometimes, the truth is much simpler. Sometimes a person pauses because they are thinking. Sometimes they look away because they are shy. Sometimes an emotional reaction is simply an emotional reaction. Yet in the world of fandom, moments like these can take on a life of their own. That is exactly what happened with Taehyung's answer. The more fans discussed it, the more questions emerged. One of the biggest questions involved the possibility that Taehyung had been asked about a private conversation with Jungkook. According to the fictional scenario, the question may have been connected to something Jungkook had allegedly said in the past. A sentence. A promise. A memory. Something that fans had never heard directly. Taehyung's reaction, according to the narrative, suggested that he knew exactly what the question was referring to. But instead of revealing the full story, he chose a careful response. He reportedly said that some conversations were better kept between the people who had them. That sentence caused an immediate shock. Because suddenly, the mystery became much bigger. What conversation was he talking about? When did it happen? And why did it seem so important? Fans began wondering whether Taehyung was protecting Jungkook's privacy. Perhaps Jungkook had told him something personal. Perhaps the two had shared a difficult moment. Perhaps one of them had needed support during a challenging period. And perhaps Taehyung believed that repeating the details publicly would be unfair. This interpretation created a wave of emotional reactions. Many fans praised the idea that Taehyung would protect a private conversation rather than use it to create attention. Others wondered whether his mysterious response was exactly what made the moment so powerful. Because sometimes, refusing to reveal everything can say more than revealing everything. The mystery continued to grow when Taehyung reportedly added that Jungkook had always been someone who understood him in ways that did not require many words. That sentence became one of the most discussed parts of the entire moment. For some fans, it sounded like a simple description of a deep friendship. For others, it suggested years of emotional understanding. And for many, it was the combination of the words and the timing that made the moment unforgettable. Taehyung was not reportedly speaking with the energy of someone trying to create a headline. He was not making an exaggerated statement. He was not attempting to entertain the audience. Instead, he seemed to be speaking from a place of reflection. That was why fans became emotional. Because the most powerful moments are not always the loudest. Sometimes the most powerful moments are quiet. A pause. A soft smile. A sentence that ends before the full story is revealed. And that was exactly what fans believed they had witnessed. But then came the twist. According to the fictional storyline, Jungkook later became aware of Taehyung's answer. And his reaction was reportedly unexpected. Instead of laughing about it, Jungkook allegedly became quiet. The people around him noticed the change. When asked about Taehyung's words, he reportedly smiled before saying that Taehyung always had a way of making simple things sound more complicated. At first, that answer seemed playful. But then Jungkook reportedly added something that made fans stop. He said that Taehyung knew him better than most people realized. That sentence immediately created another wave of discussion. What did Jungkook mean? Was he simply talking about years of friendship? Was it a joke? Or was there a deeper emotional meaning behind the words? The uncertainty made this story even more captivating. Fans began asking whether Taehyung's answer had been intentionally vague because Jungkook was not ready to discuss the subject publicly. Others wondered whether the two members had privately talked about the question before. Perhaps Taehyung had already known that Jungkook would eventually hear about his response. Perhaps his careful words had been chosen precisely because he knew the subject was personal. And then came another emotional possibility. Maybe Taehyung had not been trying to hide anything. Maybe he simply did not know how to describe a relationship that had existed for so long. How can someone explain years of shared memories in one answer? How can someone describe the person who saw them before the world knew their name? How can someone explain the comfort of a familiar presence after years of pressure? Perhaps that was the real reason Taehyung struggled to answer. Because some relationships are difficult to define. not because they are mysterious, but because they are too meaningful to fit into a simple explanation. That interpretation touched many fans deeply. ARMY began sharing their own stories about friendships that had survived time, distance, and change. They said Taehyung's answer reminded them of people who had been there during the most important moments of their lives. People who did not always need to speak. People who could understand a mood from a single expression. People who knew the version of them that existed before success, fame, and public attention.